This is VOA News. I'm Marissa Melton. U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday said that for many years, Mexico has not been cooperative to curb the surge of migrants traveling through Mexico to reach the United States. Trump said he believes a new agreement will alleviate that problem. AP's Ben Thomas reports.
In a series of Sunday morning tweets, President Trump hails Mexico's commitment, but says if for some unknown reason such cooperation fails, we can always go back to our previous, very profitable position on tariffs. On Fox News Sunday, Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Kevin McAleenan underscored the point.
There's a mechanism to make sure that they do what they promised to do, that there's an actual result, that we see a vast reduction in those numbers.
Mexico's U.S. Ambassador Martha Barcena Coqui tells CBS's Face the Nation the U.S., Mexico, and Central American nations are all working together on the migrant crisis.
We will continue to have technical talks almost weekly and then to evaluate constantly what is going on in these 90 days.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
President Trump did say he didn't think returning to tariffs would be necessary. Hundreds of thousands of Hong Kong residents marched Sunday against legislation that would allow people to be extradited to mainland China to face charges. This is the largest demonstration the city has seen in years. The Chief Executive Carrie Lam has said such changes would close legal loopholes, but the changes have raised international concern about the future of Hong Kong's legal system. In particular, Chinese expatriates who speak out about human rights worry they may no longer be safe traveling to Hong Kong. China doles out strict punishment for political dissent. You can find more on these and other stories at voanews.com. This is VOA News. In the western Canadian city of Vancouver, hundreds of people protested outside the Chinese consulate in solidarity with the demonstrations in Hong Kong. They were voicing disapproval of those controversial plans to allow extraditions from Hong Kong to the Chinese mainland and to Taiwan. Thousands of immigrants from Hong Kong settled in Vancouver in the 1980s and 1990s, ahead of the 1997 handover of Hong Kong from Britain to China. A lawyer for a prominent Russian journalist detained on drug charges has filed a complaint with the country's top investigative body, saying police used violence against him while he was in custody in Moscow. AP correspondent Sarah Bassett reports.
Ivan Goldanov was taken to a Moscow court after he complained of feeling poorly in police custody. During the hearing, he denied being involved with drugs. Following his release, one of Goldanov's lawyers filed a complaint, saying police used violence against him while in custody, which they deny. Police are alleging they found 4 grams of a synthetic stimulant in Goldanov's backpack, but many journalists suspect the arrest was retribution for his investigative reporting. I'm Sarah Bassett.
It was a beautiful day for a parade Sunday in Manhattan as thousands came out for the 62nd annual National Puerto Rican Day Parade along New York City's Fifth Avenue. AP correspondent Julie Walker.
Puerto Rican pride was on display everywhere you looked, with flags waving and people cheering as notables went by on floats like Ricky Martin, who was the Grand Marshal. Actor Danny Canelo was marching with his city flag.
I'm proud of my heritage, proud to be from the most beautiful city in Puerto Rico, Loíza.
And Puerto Rico's devastation by Hurricane Maria was not forgotten. Governor Andrew Cuomo says the city will erect a permanent memorial.
Puerto Ricans are American citizens, and what the federal government did was a disgrace.
Other politicians taking part included Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but one notable absence was Mayor de Blasio, who was out of town campaigning for president. At the Puerto Rican Day Parade, I'm Julie Walker.
And on Saturday in Washington, D.C., hundreds of people ran from a public park where the D.C. Pride celebration was being staged, fearing that a gunman had opened fire. A man was arrested on charges of weapons possession and disorderly conduct charges after he threatened another person with a BB gun, which is a type of air gun that shoots very small pellets. As it turned out, 7 people were slightly injured, not from the gunfire, but from the crush of the crowds fleeing the scene. And Moldova, the European country, has plunged deeper into political crisis. On Sunday, the nation's constitutional court stripped pro-Russian President Igor Dodon of his power over his failure to form a new government. I'm Marissa Melton, VOA.